welcome back from lunch, and we're going to do the picking and comparing numbers tutorial. So if you go out to the bhacker.com website and you go into the Objective-C course and you go into the source code examples, this one is properly named Picking Number Picker Tutorial. So we just did, right before lunch, we did the N array, an NS array, and that was the kind of like the to-do list kind of thing. So this one's going to be a picker. So we're going to make, this is like, so if you want to do a slot machine, here you go. This will be your slot machine one. Not to give you any ideas with that. And then we'll do an NS date next after that, and notification. So let me actually download NS date just to make sure I have this one as well. And then the notification is sort of like, remember earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, we did one that had a date, a timer, stopwatch. So the notification actually is going to be one in which it'll do a automatic notification on a timer for us. So we can set notifications to remind ourselves of things. So it's an extension off of the one we did earlier, but it doesn't really matter if you didn't do that one earlier. It works anyway. So go ahead and make sure we've got these downloaded, and then these are going to be the ones I'll be working on. So let's see. Oh, no, I already have that one, it looks like. Okay. Questions before we get started? Yep, okay. So this one is the picker. It's called a number picker. So this is the picker and comparing numbers. So let's go ahead and open up a brand new Xcode project. And by now you probably have 2 or 3 of these guys already if you're saving the projects. If not, I'll just throw them away. You just redo them. And you're thinking, oh, why am I going to throw it away? It's practice. It's practice. So I'm trying to give you practice with Xcode. So go ahead and press next on a single view application. I'm going to call this one the picker, P-I-K-E-R. And I'm going to do it for iPhone. So go ahead and press next and then save it to the desktop. So we have it. And what is this one going to do? Let's take a look here. So this one is going to be one where we're going to use a UI picker controller, and we're going to implement a single lottery application. So we'll be picking numbers like a lottery. That's why I said you could do this actually if you put, instead of numbers, if you put images or something in the picker, you could do like cherries and, you know, just spin it, pick a number kind of thing. So we can like have a slot machine or something like that. So the user will choose 2-digit numbers using the picker controller and then press a button to see if the number matches the random number generator in the app. So this will be like a random number picker or lottery. Dealing with 2 numbers though, and you'll see how you can expand it with dozens of numbers if you'd like. So once we have this created, we're going to open up the viewcontroller.h and we're going to make the following changes. We're going to change the @interface line to add the use of a delegate, of a protocol. And the protocol we're going to use is going to be the UI picker view delegate protocol. So we're going to add the UI picker view data source and the UI picker view delegate protocol, and then the finished declaration is going to look like this. So let's go ahead and change this line of the view controller. Let's see. So I'm going to go back into the Xcode project and click on the viewcontroller.h file, and I'm actually going to stick mine right underneath it so you can see what I'm changing. It's the @interface line, and the @interface line is going to do the same thing as we did before, except for, let's take this @interface out here because it's going to cause a problem. And we have angled bracket that is missing right here. There we go. And now we have, let me get rid of this side piece so it actually looks better. Now this is demonstrating the concept of being able to use multiple interfaces or multiple protocols. They're really called protocols in Objective-C, but it's sort of like interfaces. So in Java we call them interfaces, which is why I'm using that terminology right now. And in Java we can extend one class and then we can implement multiple interfaces. So, you know, my class would extend another class and it would implement interface 1, interface 2, interface 3, 4. Same concept here in Objective-C. It's the same type, except for these aren't called interfaces, they're called protocols. And they're separated by a comma, and they go in between the opening and closing arrows. So this is multiple protocols that are implemented by View Controller class that extends UI View Controller. Why do we want to put these in here? Is because we're going to use the protocols that are associated with the picker view controller. So if we do that, then we're extending out the picker view controller to get the view controller, the picker functionality, and then implement it on our view. So let's take a look here. So now we're going to create a user interface. So we're going to open up the main storyboard, and then we're going to drag a control to the main view as shown here. So we got a label, a picker, and we have a button. So we've got a picker, and wire the label to prompt and the picker to picker, and then wire the IB action to an enter check entry. And so let's take a look here. We're going to go out here and click on the main storyboard, and I'm going to move mine over a little bit so I can kind of get some good real estate going on here. And I'll change my background color. I think I'll go blue this time. There we go. That's a good color, blue. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to type in picker, actually. If I type in picker, I get a picker view, and then I get a date picker. So let's take a look here. Actually, the GUI component has changed, but I think I want the date picker. But let's just take a look here. I'm going to scroll through a little bit. Date picker, yeah. No, the date picker looks different. Well, let's take a look here. Let me go back to the tutorial here. And I don't mention in here the older excuse me?
It's a picker view.
Picker view. It's the second one. It's not the date picker. Yeah, I was just making sure whether or not I actually put it in here or not. It's the picker view because there's a UI picker view picker. So we don't have the same kind of look as we're going to get in the picture because of the change in the API version. But this is the wrong one. This is the date picker. We want the picker view. So go ahead and drag a picker view over here. And it actually does sort of look very similar, but in the old API it looks like this. It's got like this slot machine looking thing to it. It's basically a wheel that's going to roll on us. So go ahead and drag one of those over. We also need a label, and we're going to need a button. So go ahead and put those on there too. So this is the picker view. I'm going to put mine sort of on the top and make it a little bit bigger actually. And I'll put it right here actually. That looks pretty good. And that's pretty good. And then I'll put a label out here. Actually, I want to move this down. Oh, there we go. I'll center the label here. Let's just make this a little bit bigger. We're going to add the number that was selected. And I'm going to center the label. And I'll make the font a little bit bigger too. Let's see. That looks about right. Actually, let's see. The picker itself, we'll just leave that one alone. I'll leave it on the defaults. Okay. So now I need a button. So let me put a UI button down here too. And I'll put the button on the bottom. There we go. And the button is going to be a check number or something. Or let's just go here. Check entry. There we go. I'll make the font a little bit bigger on that one too. Okay, so we have the label, we have the picker view, and we have the little button that's on the bottom. Okay, so let me go back in here and see, we're going to need to, so we got the label, the picker view, and the button. And so we're going to need to wire it. So we're going to wire the button as a check entry on an IB action on the button. And the label is just going to be called prompt, and the picker is going to be called picker. And we're going to do two properties. So I'll do the label and the picker first, actually. So open up press on the little tuxedo icon over there. Open up viewcontroller.h. And let's make our properties, and we'll put it right underneath, right here on the top. So the label is, I already forgot. Let me see what I'm going to call my label. Prompt. Yeah, the UI label is the prompt, and then the other one is called picker. So let's see, prompt, and then this one here is going to be the picker. picker, and it says UI picker. Okay, good. And then we want to do the action on the button, and the action on the button is going to be called check entry. So check entry on an IB action. And the IB action I'm going to use is just going to be the touchdown. And I'm going to change my ID to UI button, although I could leave it on ID. Did we all get this far? Do we want a few more minutes? Okay, we'll give you a few more minutes. Here, let me pause this for a few. Alright, so I'm sorry?
Touchdown.
You could use the touchdown, or you could use, I use the touchdown. You can use any event that you want. It's whatever GUI component, I mean whatever touch sensor or whatever you're going to need for that. Okay, so this is your finished view controller. Hopefully you have that. So as you can see, we're going to add two properties, a UI label, which we added here, a prompt, a UI picker view controller, picker view, and we've added a single action for the check entry. And the view controller also is made to adopt the two protocols, UI picker view data source and UI picker view delegate. And so in step number 5, we're going to right click on the picker view, and then we're going to drag both the delegate and the data source to the file owners. So we have file owner on the left hand side. So let's take a look at this picture real quick here. This is a very important step. If we don't connect the picker view, we're not going to get the functionality that we're looking for out of this. So we're going to connect both the data source and the delegate to file owners. So let me show you what this looks like actually in Xcode. You've got to open up the little side panel. And hold on a second, let me get rid of this here. And oops, let me see here. Well, file owner is down here. Let me move this up a little bit. Now, view controller, first responder. Let me find where it went to, actually. Where is file owner now? Hold on one second. Let me pause this for a second. Let's see if this works. Plan B, because we have no file owner anymore, let's do the data source to the view controller. So what you want to do then is right mouse click on the picker, drag the arrow next to data source and delegate, and put it connected to the view controller. Maybe the view controller is now the file owner. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work or not, really, but we'll take a look here. If not, I can Google a little bit further. We need to connect it to the file owner, which, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe it's not necessary anymore. So we'll continue and see what happens. So anyway, put it to view controller. And we can't actually type in file owner, can we? No. All right. So let's assume that we can find files owner, which came from view controller originally. Well, actually, that looks like the view controller icon now that they have here. Well, not really, but it does look very similar. That might actually work. That might actually work. Maybe the file owner is the view controller now. I don't know. It used to be called files owner. But,
see the picker, right? The referencing outlet.
Yeah.
The picker.
Oh, the picker is the file owner.
Right?
Yeah.
In our case, you see the picker as the view controller.
Yeah. We should see that. No, the referencing object here, let's make sure we've got that connected as well, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, the picker is the view controller. View controller, view controller. Well, let's see what happens. We'll see what happens if that works or not. I'm pretty sure it might, actually. It's a difference in the terminology. But you're right, I see that. You're right. So let's see what happens. Now we're going to need to implement the app source code here in viewcontroller.m. So we need to synthesize the two properties. So we're going to synthesize the prompt and the picker. So move over to the viewcontroller.m file. So let me get rid of the side piece here. And now I'm on viewcontroller.m. And it's going to tell me, yes, I know. It's going to tell me that the protocol is not implemented because we haven't added those methods yet. So, man, I hate, let's see. Let's put this back on the M file. There we go. Let me get rid of this side piece here, too. Okay, so let me add in underneath the implementation, the at implementation. Let me synthesize now the prompt and the picker. And this is the most irritating, oh, there we go. I was going to say it's the most irritating warning message. Now we're going to implement the required protocol methods so that little error message goes away. So the number of components in the picker, we're going to return as 2. We're going to set it to 2. And the picker is going to pick, essentially return 10 for the picker view for the number of rows. So the number of rows in the component. And then for the title, we're going to put on there the row title, whatever shows up on the row when we select it. So go ahead and copy the unimplemented protocol methods and let's add those in. So we'll put those inside the project here, and I'll just put it underneath, and then the warning should go away about the unimplemented methods. And it does. So the unimplemented methods are essentially setting the row height, and they're setting what's visible, and they're setting the number. And in the old days, this actually used to change, but it's not changing now either. So it's going to be interesting to see if this actually works. So let's go back to the instructions. We have a couple more things to do on the Viewdidload. So add the following line of the Viewdidload method to set the prompt on the label. The label prompt is going to say, choose a number, please. Now, we could probably just put it on there, actually. But instead, we could, we can actually come out here. This is just part of it. We can just go here and say, choose a number. Or we could leave it and let it say label, and then in the code, we'll choose a number. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because I just realized that I'm probably going to run out of room with choose a number versus label. So, all right, so we'll humor this a little bit, and we'll add this line of code to the Viewdidload method to change the label. But you very well could have just changed the label manually. But let's see. So I'm going to go up to the Viewdidload method, which is right here, and right underneath Super Viewdidload, I'm going to go ahead and put in here the choose a number. So here I'm going to actually say pick a number. Pick number. There we go. So I know it fits in my little space here. Pick number. There we go. That'll fit in my label. Okay, so let's see what we've got next here. The IB action for the button behavior. When we press the button, we're going to randomly pick a number, compare it with what we selected, and see if we guessed it correctly. So here we're going to have a winning number. The number is going to be a random number that's going to be added to winning number. We're going to pick a number from the picker, so that's going to be chosen number. And then in tens and ones, depending upon the rows, we have 2 columns with 2 numbers in it. We're going to pick one number from one column and another number from another column, add them together. The chosen is going to be the tens plus the ones. So if we go 2 on one and 2 on the other, that's 22. If the chosen equals the winner, then we're going to change the prompt on the top that says you're a winner. Else, we're going to change it and say, sorry, you're a loser. So go ahead and copy this code and put it in the check entry button. And that's going to be on the bottom here, check entry. And I'm going to change the wording a little bit because it's not going to fit in my label. So I'm going to change the wording to say, nope, and then the number. That's pretty short. And then here it says you win. So if it's the same, it's going to say you win. If not, it's going to say nope, and then give me the right number that it picked. So that's the method implementation. So after synthesizing the properties, we proceed. We're going to implement the 3 delegate methods that we did. And this is just kind of a recap of what we pasted in so you have an understanding of it. And we changed the number of components in the picker view to the number of rows, or rows in the component, to 2. And we have the digits 0 through 9 that are going to show up in the picker view. And then we have the number of components to return 2, which means there's going to be 2 numbers. So we have 0 through 9. They're numbers, and we're going to have one set of numbers next to the other set of numbers. And in the method, we're going to generate a random number using arc4random. And now we're going to add it to the selected number, or the whatever we call that variable. And then it's going to be a number between 0 and 99, because we're able to pick up to 0 to 99 in the numbers. And then we're going to take and compare it with the number chosen and then return back. So what it should look like if it works with the file owner set to the view controller, we should get something that looks like, you know, choose a number, 00, sorry, the number was 92. Or, you know, pick a number and you won. So let's take a look here and see what happens when we run it. I'm not sure if this is actually going to run or not because I wasn't able to set the file owner. Let's see. Well, interesting. Oh, this does work. Okay, so I'm moving the wheel here. So it says pick number. So I'm going to move the wheel to 4. And then I'm going to move this wheel to 2. I'm going to press on here. It says nope, 34. So apparently your Google search proved effective. It was view controller. So I guess they got rid of file owner completely. And why did they have you move it to view controller as the owner? I don't know either. So they should just take that out completely, really. But now it should randomly guess. I'm going to put 53 here. Nope, it was 8. Where is it? 8. Let's see. We'll put it on 8. Let's see. Here, I'll put it on 6. Nope, it's 59. 16. I guess it's not going to randomly pick 6, is it? Oh, I did 8 again. That's not very random. Let's see. Let's put it on 8. 9. 4. 29. I'm not going to win this game. Oh, I did 9. I haven't done 8. Did 9 twice. So I'm going to keep doing it here. I guess the odds are against me here. I'm not doing too well with this game. Oh! No, did 9 again. Let me put it back on 9. Let's see. I'm trying to get it to win. Oh, no, 1. Wow. Anyway, there's my 8. So if I had left it on 8, I would have won. Wow, this game is not... I can't win this game. So maybe I need to move it down to 1 number. Alright, well, it seems to be... I don't like this interface. I like the old one better, actually. But maybe I'm just not... maybe I need to make this smaller, maybe, and play around with the video. Play around with it a little bit. Let's see, maybe 59. I'm not going to win this game. Alright, but that's the picker. So it's showing you how to use a picker, and it appears to be working. So, in fact, I probably would work. Let me just take a look here, actually. I'm now kind of curious if it would work without the file owner specified, or without this guy here. In fact, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller here. No, this is not going to work for me, is it? Let's see. Making the picker a little bit smaller. The picker's not helping me. Alright. Making the picker smaller. And I'm going to unselect. I'm going to take out the view controller here. Take these guys out. It will probably work without the data source and without the delegate, but let's just take a look. Actually, now I'm kind of curious. In the old days, you used to have to set it to file owners for some reason, and I could never really figure out why it was needed to be set that way, and it wasn't set originally. But yeah, you definitely need to set it to the view controller, because now I got it. It's 0 now. It's emptied out. So you definitely have to set the data source here, which is interesting. So we'll set it back to the view controller. Interesting. Well, the picker is on the view controller, so it didn't work without it. So.
It's like a sub-view, right? You need to say which view.
It's part. Yeah, it is a view, so maybe it has to be connected to the view. Yeah. In order for it to. Yeah. Now this one's working. So. Still not having any luck with my number picking now. So. Oh well. That's your number picker. So I'm actually kind of glad we figured that out. It worked. So. All right. So let me stop this recording.